We are once again headed out here on the Emerald Coast of Australia, but this time we are in single player, pretty much for one primary reason. We spent a bunch of time in the last week hunting in multiplayer, and there were some insane spots that we discovered, specifically like drink zones for Sambar and Red Fox, and also a Rusa drink zone that was just loaded with deer. I want to check those spots in our single player maps today, as well as just continue to explore. So we're gonna head out and see what we can run into. I cannot believe we're going to start the hunt this way. A level 5 hog deer, and it is not close. 103 max estimate? I think diamond is 107 or something like that. We just got down here. I don't know where he was. Like, he must have been maybe just below this little rise. But for a moment there, I saw the long beams. I figured he was going to be a level 4 again. It might score lower than level 4 we shot in multiplayer, and obviously we're starting this hunt in hog deer drink time. We've done a lot of hunting for them, but between early access and the live game here, the one species we have not seen a max level of until now had been hog deer, so we are going to try to get a crack at him with the 22-250. Don't like that he turned, but I think it actually might have helped us. See if he starts to go down, and even if he doesn't, it's not the worst thing in the world, but looks like we got him. Not sure why that guy decided to run through us, but we'll get him as well. And I mean, at least now we've seen a level 5 hog deer. This was one place that we hadn't yet checked. There's kind of going to be a combination of that in today's video. Some spots we still haven't looked at, and then places that are sort of like hotspots like I mentioned that we saw in multiplayer. This particular lake, I've never checked for hog deer. That's got to be an initial spawn that was sitting there. Just unfortunately, on Emerald Trolls, an initial troll. It's always such a bummer to get that kind of immediate feeling like heart skips a beat, you see 5 medium, and then the estimate gives it no chance. It's a guaranteed troll, but at least he did score at the top end of his estimate, 103.19. Diamond is actually 108, so literally no shot, but he did turn right into that lung shot. I've got to say, if we had the chance, spotted would probably be my like preferred common fur type for a diamond. They look really good. I don't know how the true score worked for them, like just the fact that he was a 5 and fell that short. Probably interspread's the only thing that could have maybe saved him. If it was really wide set, there could have been a chance at it, but a little bit of a bummer that our first kill, second harvest is a troll of one of the 3 species we don't have a diamond of. We only do need the 3 deer species from this map. I would say there was a chance there, but really there wasn't. You know, it's been my perception from watching around the community that hog deer are, of the new deer species, probably the one that trolls the least, but I also think they probably make level 5 the least. You don't see nearly as many max levels for them as you do for Sambar deer and Rusa deer, but even still, to get trolled by that much starting this hunt was not what I expected to happen. But again, on the other side of it, kind of a good thing to actually find a level 5 finally for them all the time in multiplayer. We've been in quite a few servers, and I just find that a lot of times it is hog deer drink time for whatever reason. Lots of servers are between that 1300 and 1700 window. We've not had a single one of those, so can't complain about finding our best one and then following that up with a silver, which at least somehow we didn't end up shooting in the skull. But it's nearly sandbar drink time. I wanted to scoot around and get to as many locations as we could for hog deer, and hopefully we can maybe find 1 or 2 more, but Sambar will be in their drink zones before we know it. That, I think, is an albino axis deer? Just a doe? But that's gotta be what it is. I thought for a second it was just a rock or something, but definitely an albino. If she'll step out just a little bit farther too. That's a shot we can make with the 22-250. She's actually going down a lot more quickly than the hog deer did. That's something I still haven't spent the time to compare, like, are hog deer just way tougher than axis deer? In my perception, they are. But that's kind of cool. Another sort of initial spawn, no doubt. We haven't shot, I don't think, a single female axis deer on Emerald Coast. But a pretty cool one just hanging out here in the forest. And kind of like I said at the beginning of the hunt, I wanted to go around and explore some of these spots we've not been through. And this was just sitting here waiting. You know, the other thing, we haven't looked at the new albino axis deer yet. Those are really nice. I'd love to see an albino male. but not too bad to just get that in passing to basically one more lake before Sambar drink time. That was a double lung shot too. That may have been why it went down that fast. Even still though, I don't know that we could get double lung on a hog deer with the 22-250. Either way, nice little bonus kill already. A level 5 hog deer and an albino axis. Hopefully there's more good stuff waiting on us at the future spots we check out. Unfortunately though, at least at our first spot, not much going on for hog deer here. I might say that level 3 is going to outscore the 4 that we just shot. I think the 4 was in the 70s, 79 point something. I'd love to attempt a hard shot here if we can make it happen. Definitely did not punch through. Again, kind of indicative of how tough the hog deer are. We got a lung, so we'll be able to see if it's going to score better than that level 4. But I do think we're at or past 1700 already. It is currently 1718, so Sambar should be moving into their zones as well. And there was a spot, I don't even remember which lake. I think may have been this one here that just had a ton of Sambar and Red Fox at it. Now, I do want to give them a little more time in case they're late to their zone, so we'll take our time getting there. But hopefully we get to see a whole bunch of them. And I'm going to guess maybe we've got a Sambar moving in to this lake. Now, he may be smaller than the hog deer that we just shot, but there is a Sambar coming in. And we might as well make use of having the drilling combo gun. So, Sambar dropped in his tracks. The hog deer should not be far from here. This guy's going to score 81. There is a legitimate chance actually the hog deer outscores him, but their scoring I think would be a little bit different anyway. Although, it might actually be exactly the same. Either way, see if we can find our hog deer and figure out what the difference in scoring was. He made it just a little bit farther, and he has a 79 score, so I think the very bottom of the estimate, I forget what his estimate even was at this point, but I think it's exactly the same. Main beam length, length of brow tines, circumference, and inner spread. It's kind of interesting. They obviously have different frames, so you would expect a Sambar to score higher, but kind of cool how that works. Let's go ahead then and start to check some of the Sambar drink zones. Maybe if we want to get to this lake down here, we can start like at this outpost and work our way sort of south and then to the east. It definitely does not appear as though our single player map is nearly as crazy as the one that we joined in multiplayer. We've got, it looks like one group of Sambar and one pair of Red Fox here. In multiplayer there had to be, I don't know, 3 or 4 groups of foxes and at least 3 or 4 groups of Sambar, but I kind of feel like I know why that spot was so loaded. We kind of had it backwards. I thought it was the far right lake of these kind of 3 center ones. It's the far left one. So we went this direction first and we did check the other 2 lakes. There was just nothing there. I don't know if Sambar don't drink there or if maybe we were there too early, but that may be why there were so many here in multiplayer, and maybe we've got more drinking along the river, because we do definitely have a ton of Sambar drink zones along there. But at the very least, good to know this spot hasn't been home to like all kinds of trophy Sambar that we've been missing. This guy's a 128 gold, and we'll still try to visit a few more spots. I think Rusa start drinking at 2000 hours or somewhere in there, so we've got a little bit of time before then. And I believe it was this lake here that was a crazy Rusa hotspot in multiplayer, so hopefully our single player map will better mirror that than the Sambar hotspot. I don't think I even need to spot this. I am pretty confident that's a level 5. It is 144 to 173, so it's not an insane estimate, but he's got super long tines. Now I did see us double quill earlier, so the first thing we're going to do is go back to the rifle barrel and put the scope on. Would have been a real shame to shoot that with the birdshot, so we are out 180 out right now. We'll go ahead and scoot in a little bit more. The wind isn't great, and I can't tell what variation he is. It may be the light brown, which is my absolute favorite. I feel like with that frame, like it's wide set, he's got a shot at it. And this, if I'm not mistaken, this is where we shot our leucistic in early access. It's a really good little spot here. Now he's kind of moving more into the open. If we just sidestep that tree, he's around 150, so I'd say with the power of the 9.3, we can go ahead and try to make the shot. Turn our light off. That's light brown for sure. I'm a little afraid to take that shot. Let's scoot to the side, because that tree is kind of blocking things. Gotta spot something else. The light of the spotting icon. Yeah, there's a gap right where the lungs are behind the shoulder. That's gonna work just fine. One of the really important things to do when you're hunting at night is identify potential obstacles that you can't see, whether it's your own light blocking it or the light that's emitted from the spotting outline. It can end up causing you a lot of problems because tracking things in the daylight is hard enough. If you spook a diamond at night and gotta find its tracks and locate it in the dark, it can be way more difficult. But moment of truth, our first level 5 sandbar since release, the fur type I won. It looks like fantastic times and a really nice frame. Fingers crossed. It's a diamond at 166.73. He just made it. 0.3 above. What a cool looking deer. I love this light brown variation. I was so afraid he was going to troll when we got closer. He didn't look as big as he did in the distance. With the drilling gun. I am so stoked that it's this particular fur as well. Waiting on our map, much like in early access, the piebald, actually, and diamond and leucistic were. We seem to have really good sandbar luck, but that... I don't even know where sandbar can go on the wall. We only in early access placed them on full body platforms, so... Gonna be kind of fun to find a place to put it. That is really, really cool. I suppose we'll keep going here, because we still have 30 minutes left of sandbar drink time. I was going to go all the way down to here. You see, man, we really lucked out too. I took the ATV here and almost got too close. So I guess we'll fast travel back and get the ATV down to there so we can make it in time. I mean, the fact that we could have spooked them off and never known they were there because we took the ATV, we'll definitely err on the side of caution going to this next lake and stop a little sooner. I actually didn't even think of it, but there probably could be Banteng drinking down here too, so while we're kind of far away, let's go ahead and hit that level 4. I couldn't tell what variation it was. It looked like he had some kind of whiter fur on the jaw. May have just been the way the light was hitting it. But I've been here in multiplayer before, and I do believe Banteng drink here, at least in some servers, so might as well give ourselves the opportunity to spot things that are, you know, far enough away that they wouldn't have heard that shot. The only thing is, I'm not seeing any Banteng. We've got a level 4 sandbar and that level 3 red fox over here. And a couple more fox and sandbar on this side. Maybe we'll go ahead and take that one, because he's close enough that it's not going to take forever to run around and claim him. And he's still pretty decent size, right around the same estimate. So we'll go with the M1 here, mostly because I equipped it by accident, but it's going to work just as well as the 9.3. And then our other one is laying right here. We ran past him when we were spotting that. This guy was actually light brown as well. I can see what we noticed too. Little bit lighter right there around the jaw. I didn't notice that with R5, but again, could have been the angle. Maybe he didn't turn the same way. But not bad for our little sandbar section of this hunt. Got ourselves a diamond, and that leaves us with just a hog deer and Rusa deer diamond to get from the Emerald Coast. That was also a light brown. I don't know how we ended up shooting 3 of them, and by the way, he was at the max end of his estimate, so may have been better than the one that was across the lake anyway. It is getting into Rusa deer drink time, so we're going to go up to the river. I think we'll go probably from here, go up along the river, all the way up to the end, and then head down to this lake to the west. So finally, we get to hunt some Rusa deer in their drink zones, at least in single player. We have done that a tiny bit in multiplayer, and our first one is at least decent, going up to 127, so that's a pretty long shot. And to be honest, long shots with the drilling combo gun are not always the easiest. We'll have to aim decently high. I'm gonna say that worked just fine. So at 300 meters, we were maybe an inch above the spine. That worked pretty good. And I guess at the very least, we ought to get ready in case some kind of decent quail comes out of here. It was right in this area that we shot our albino in multiplayer. So we'll try to spot whatever flushes. The only problem is I never saw any of them actually take off. So not sure what that was about, but our first Rusa, which we center punched the lungs at 300 flat, I would say aiming right around here then is the way to go. 118 scoring gold, actually. Not too bad. And if you're wondering, by the way, if you've missed something when I'm talking about only needing now 2 diamonds from this map, we did shoot one of the missing diamonds that we were looking for on stream on Monday. And to be honest, it was about as cool of an encounter as I could have hoped for. That looks like a male. Oh! Thank goodness we made that shot. I'm pretty sure that was a guarantee. What on earth? That was a huge one. It's max weight. It was almost max score. It's the variation I wanted too. Never has it been better to not realize what I was shooting, because I totally would have panicked and probably screwed it up. Double smoked it too, left lung and then neck. Literally just perpetuating the fact that we never get max weight diamonds that are also max score. That was epic, that was pretty cool, not gonna lie. That was pretty sweet. I think I mentioned it in that clip, just the fact that we didn't even know it was a 9 really until we pulled the trigger. I think that probably helped us, and that is why, whether it's when I'm grinding for a great one or just generally trying to find a diamond, I tend to use the weapon that I expect to use when shooting a diamond, in case there's something there that I don't know. Accidentally shoot a rare that I don't realize, I don't want to mess up the metal, so I typically make sure to use an ethical weapon, and in that case, having the 338 and making that shot definitely helped us out. This Rusa is finally going alert, kind of again accidentally went M1, but works just as well, and we are getting up into the area that we spotted, I think, a couple of big ones in that multiplayer server. I want to say it was right down in here, but I do want to go all the way to the end of the river, but definitely not bad. 2 down already, this one being a 105 silver, and I mean, we've seen a level 5 of hog deer and Sambar so far. Maybe there's a 5 Rusa on our map, and of course we do. But it's a guaranteed troll, just like the hog deer earlier. Went to the M1 in this case because I wanted the extra shot. That one was intentional. That's crazy. We literally, of the 3 diamonds that we didn't have, we found a level 5 of all of them. One made it by literally the tiniest bit, 0.3 for the Sambar, and the other 2 had legitimately no shot. I will say I've seen worse estimates, but yeah, that's actually the smallest level 5 we've ever taken. 134? Like, we shot a level 4 in a recent video that was 137, I think, actually right up here in this area. It's so interesting the way they score, and, you know, I've said it many times with Emerald Coast and the max levels here, but when it comes to ones like that troll by a lot, it's probably best to just look at that as another level 4, because it's just gonna happen. And at least, I mean, we've now seen a 5 for everything in single player, so good to know that we've got some big ones around. Just have to check out the right spots, and, you know, naturally, going in there drink time tends to produce those opportunities. It is kind of interesting though. It does just seem like that multiplayer server we were in had a couple of better hotspots than our single player map, and that just goes to show how everybody's map is a little bit different in terms of where things drink, how many things drink in areas, and stuff like that. Now, I could almost be convinced that's a piebald, but I believe it's the white-brown variation. We're still going to take it pretty seriously as far as our shot placement, but pretty sure that's just a common. And unless another one shows up somewhere around this lake that we can't see, that's likely to be our last kill. No sign of anything like that. And I'm going to say this is very much a common with that white-brown variation. 80 score, so not the most impressive, but still I think crazy that we basically set out looking for those 3 deer species and had a max level of all of them. But best of all, 1 made diamond, and it was the exact variation I wanted, so I'm actually very much looking forward to choosing a location in the lodge for it. Definitely going to go on the wall somewhere, I just don't know where yet. And I think this is going to be perfect. This is kind of like a wall of antler thing we've had going on for a long time in this lodge, and we've had diamond fallow on opposite sides, but because we've shot so many on the fallow grind, and because we're also going to be removing these anyway, for things like, you know, the white variation, chocolate variation, those sorts of things, I think maybe a Rusa and a Sambar in this location would end up looking really, really cool. So, great to get a diamond Sambar added to the lodge. The light brown variation, and also just getting it in single player is always really neat as well. And because we had the clip of our diamond croc, we'll go in here and check that out. That, of course, completed our multi-mount, and I wouldn't have guessed we'd have the diamond croc and diamond magpie before 2 diamond kangaroos for that mount, but I really like it. It looks cool. It was the gray variant, like I said, and just always the case when we play Call of the Wild. Max weight animals we get, you know, not super often, but we've had quite a lot of max weight animals over the years. Very few of them ever are max score. When we get max scores, a lot of times they are not max weight, but just a crazy, crazy way to get to this point now. 3 different level 5 animals. All of the species that we needed diamonds of. 1 made it, 2 didn't, but that leaves us now just with hog deer and Rusa deer that we don't have a diamond of from the Emerald Coast, and hopefully next time we can continue chipping away at that. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video, so as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.